And good afternoon, everybody. It's been a while, and I'm so glad to be back here. So, I'm your host for today, and my name is Precious, Visa Advisor here at Nexi. And once again, I'm so glad. It's been a while. I missed everybody. I hope you missed me too. So, today, the topic for today is that we're going to be discussing the various visa updates that happened across different countries late last year into this year. This is to keep us up to date and abreast on everything that's happening in the visa space, and also how to properly navigate our way through the visa process, things to do, things not to do, things to take into cognizance when making a visa decision or relocation decision. So, once again, good afternoon. My name is Precious, and I'm your host for today. And while we're waiting for more people to join, um, we are a travel agency or travel consultant and student consultant agency here in Lagos. We have our branch in Abuja. We have a branch in Port Harcourt as well as in Ghana. While I'm going through the process, you can do well to drop your questions in the comments bar. And if you don't feel comfortable asking your questions in the comment section, you can as well go to our social media pages and send a direct message where you'll be responded to privately, or you'll be given a number to call. So this is going to be a very quick, brief, and straight to the point session. So once again, we're discussing visa updates that has happened in the travel space across different major countries late last year into this year, and just around now, I'm going to get into it. So I'm getting a hi from Oma. Oma, hi back to you. So while I was waiting for more people to join, I'm just going to start with the people that are already here. So I'm going to start with the US first of all. As I'm well aware, or if you're not aware, the US has changed their service. Okay. Nigerian network. So I'm back. So you take it to First Bank. When you pay your visa fee, they give you a payment receipt that has certain or different numbers. You wait for 24 to 48 hours. Your profile comes alive. Then you can now book your appointment. Or you can pay online with a foreign card, either a pound, a dollar card. Naira card doesn't work. Or you can also pay with your First Bank app. So one and again, if you're going for a US interview before formally, for some reason maybe your DS-160 expired before you can properly submit for the main applicant, you can just quickly go to the website, update it, and your DS-160 number on your appointment letter will be updated in less than 24 hours. Or for your dependent, you need to call in the embassy 24 to 48 hours before. This is no longer applicable. So if you have your DS-160 number and it has not been properly linked with your appointment profile, you have to do this 10 days prior to your appointment. Now, if you chat up the US reps, they will actually update it for you, but it will not be reflecting on their back end. So if you don't update this DS-160 number on your appointment profile within 10 days to your appointment, even though the actual number that you have submitted is reflecting on your appointment letter, you'll not be let into the embassy because they won't have it reflect on their back end because it's not 10 days. So if you want to go for a US appointment and you have not properly linked, or you have just recently updated your DS-160 number on your appointment slip, and it's not 10 days yet, I would suggest that you go and reschedule the appointment or wait until it is 10 days. If not, you'll not be let into the US embassy for your interview. And that is all I have for the US currently. And now we're going to move to the Odogo of them all, which is Canada. I'm very sure at this point, we are just like, you know what, whatever Canada brings, we are going to take it like that. So they've been a couple of informations from last year into this year as regards Canada relocation, studying, and all of those things. So sometime last year they introduced the PAL system, Provincial Attestation Letter System, and they also banned, or they no longer allow people going for postgraduate diploma, postgraduate certificate to bring in their dependents. Now, initially, this PAL system was only introduced for people going for postgraduate diploma courses and postgraduate certificate courses. However, this year master student was also incorporated into that list. Now, this spouse system was introduced because of a whole lot of reasons. You can go on their website and read it up. One of it is accommodation purposes, to make sure that the provinces you are going to study has enough space to account for or accommodate students coming in. And last year as well, they also reduced the amount of study permits that will be issued for all foreign nationals. It was cut down by, I think, around 75 to 30% thereabout. But into this year, a lot of other things has happened. Master student has now been incorporated into the list of international students that would require provincial attestation letter. So this will mean that if you're going to study a master's course, as opposed to what was obtainable last year, you need to get a provincial attestation letter from your school for the province that you are going to study at. This will mean that you have to. So if you submit an application without a provincial attestation letter, your application will be withdrawn. It will not be processed. It will not also be denied. It will be withdrawn, and your visa will be refunded back to you. No decision will be made on it. So another thing that was also introduced now, as opposed to last year as well, the master students going for any course or any category of study can relocate to their dependents. This is no longer obtainable this year. What does this mean? It means that if you're a master student going to study a course that is less than 16 months, you can no longer relocate to your dependents. This will mean that if you have plans of relocating to Canada with your dependents, this will mean your husband, your children, you have to go for a course or opt for a course option that is 16 months and above. That is a maximum of at least 16 months to 2 years. This is what makes you eligible to travel with your dependents, which is your spouse and your husband. Also, if you have also formally relocated under a course that is 2 years, but you are in your last term of studies. What do I mean? You have gone in with a 2 years course and you have already done 3 terms. That is a year and a half. Your spouse can no longer come. So if you want to go with your spouse, make sure that you still have ample time, at least three to 2 semesters still on your study year, and then you're going for a course that is 16 months and above. Anything lesser, a year, 12 months, 14 months, or as the case may be, that is not 16 months, would not be eligible to come in um with their dependents. So again, this was last year, but I just thought to bring it up. There was a policy around last year into the year prior, that if you go into Canada with a visit visa and you're able to secure an LMIA job, you can switch to a work visa. However, this is no longer um, obtainable. You go in with a visit visa, you can no longer get a visa. You have to exit the country to come and apply for a work visa. Also, if you were switching courses in Canada before, you're already in Canada and you're switching courses, it's usually a one way route system. You don't need to apply for a new study permit, but now you need to apply for a new study permit even if you're in Canada switching courses or switching schools, switching universities rather. So maybe you're at University of Manitoba, for instance, and you now want to go to Conestoga, you're already in Canada. Before, you might not need to apply for a study permit, but now you need to apply for a study permit. There's actually a whole lot of other updates actually, but because of time and what actually concerns us now, I'm going to be restricting it to study visas and visit visas in and around. And do not forget to drop your questions in the comment section, as the case may be. Any questions that you would have, and all of all those things that you have that you need to ask or you need to clarify, things you need to clarify, questions you need to have, and questions you have that you need answers to, is do not hesitate to drop it in the comment sections and ask your questions, as the case may be. So that is it about Canada visa. Okay, I wanted to add something else. So uh, um, dependent children for skilled worker visas, that is people that are under work visas that have LMIA, can no longer apply for an open work permit. But this doesn't apply to people that are already in the system. This is for new incomers. This dependent children, specific on dependent children, not dependent spouse. So we're going to move to the UK now, which is the Odogo rest of them all, if there's any word like that. So for the UK, I'm going to start with the fact that late last year, the UK changed service providers from TLS, which they've been working with for years, to VFS. So this will mean that the liaison person or representative of the UK in Nigeria is no longer TLS, but now VFS. And when they started, they only had three major locations in two cities, which is Lagos and Abuja. And for Lagos, they had the location in Ikeja, Opebi area, and on the island and Abuja. But recently, a few months back, they added the premium centers that we used to know with TLS, which is in Enugu and Port Harcourt. And the really good thing about this is that when Enugu and Port Harcourt was with TLS, the service charge to submit at those locations was £250, but for VFS it is £150. So if you're in any of these locations and you don't want to travel down to Lagos or Abuja to have your application submitted, excuse me, you can submit it in any of these premium centers, Enugu or Port Harcourt, for £150. So aside from that, the UK also increased their service charges for visa fee processing across all boards for different kind of visas. I cannot categorically list out all of the prices, but I'm going to just list out a couple. So for UK study visa, we used to know the price used to be £490, but effective April, which was last month, it was increased to £524. So do not be alarmed when you get on the website and you see a fee higher than what you had anticipated or used to. Know if you're not aware of this information. Excuse me. Then for visit visas as well, 6 month visit visa used to be £115, but it was increased to £127. For 2 years, you have to budget £475. For 5 years, £848, and for 10 years, £1,059,000. So visa fee has increased, and you want to do well to be well abreast, so you're not alarmed. However, IHS fee still remains the same. The calculation still remains the same. IHS fee is calculated according to the duration of your course and sometimes the location, and some people have said the age. However, once you get to decide to pay IHS fee, you know how much you'll be paying. But usually we usually give a range, because at the point of payment for Nigerians, the pounds equivalent is converted to dollars. We usually give a range to budget around £1,300 to £2,200, as the case may be and as it applies to you. Aside from this, there are a lot of speculations going around as well. Not speculations per se, but the UK government released a white paper broadcast, which is an announcement that is still in the books, still in the works, has not been passed into bill, has not been made, does not come alive on the 12th of May. And a couple of those speculations are thus. Number one, postgraduate visa for international students that used to be 2 years will most likely be reduced to 18 months. So students that would usually have 24 months, which is 2 years, to search for job outside school has now been cut down to 18 months. So this will mean that if you have plans of staying back in the UK, you might want to start making preparations or making plans even before you're done with school, on how to maybe secure a job or switch visas that are more permanent. Okay, and also pathways to citizenship that used to be for 5 years has now been increased to 10 years. However, there are certain exemptions to this rule, and as I said, this has not been passed into it has not been passed yet. Is still in the works. It's still undergoing negotiations, but it's good to have it in mind if you have plans of relocating, or you're in the UK and you fall into this category of people that may be affected by this law or this rule. Also, sometime late last year as well, it was passed and effective January, that the normal BRP system, the normal hard copy BRP system, where when you get to the UK, you have to go to a certain post point where you feel to pick up your hard copy BRP, is no longer obtainable. You have to now go online and generate your e-visa, where you would find the duration of your stay and all of those details. So everything is now online, no longer hard copy BRP and all those ish. Everything is now online. And if you're an aspiring student, or you're a student that have gotten your visa, I'm very sure you're well abreast on how to go about the process. The link to get your e-visa is on the UKVI website, which is gov.uk. So another thing that the UKVI also stated is that adult dependents of foreign nationals would most likely now be required to write an English test. The type of English test that will be required, we don't know yet, but we just know that you most likely be required to write an English test, and so you should be prepared for that. So if you want to relocate with your dependent, or you are planning on it, because not for people that are already there, for future aspirants, there's a likelihood that your dependent would um would have to write an English test to be able to join you in the UK. So there are a couple of other things. That Trump is so funny. Trump is offering to pay people that want to self-deport themselves $1,000 and a free flight ticket back to their home country. So if you have a family member that is in diaspora that wants to come back and they don't have money, please let them reach out to Trump. Trump will give them $1,000 and free flight tickets to come back to their home country safe and sound. There's also a speculation as well. Speculation, please, you can also confirm that citizenship by birth in the US has also been discontinued, and also asylum seekers, or the route to seeking asylum in the US as well, has also been discontinued. So if you have plans of relocating to the UK, to the US, and go and seek asylum, I would strongly suggest that you abort the plan, as this might not be obtainable as well. And because the US and Canada rather share similar system base, there's a possibility that this might also be applicable for Canada as well. So based on all of these things that I've mentioned, I'm hoping to get questions, inquiries, and clarification as well. And well, how does this affect us as international students or people aspiring to relocate? This will mean that before you start making a relocation plan, you make ample preparation that shields you from any backlash that these updates might bring to you. This will mean that if you're a student or you're planning to go to Canada to study, and you have plans of moving in with your family, you want to consider a course that is at least 2 years as opposed to a year course. You also want to start on time, because this year, because they introduced masters into the people in the category of people that will require provisional attestation letter. They further cuts down the amount of study permits that they want to give. This will mean that if you want to maybe go for the January intake for Canada, you start your process now, because once a province is filled, or once an intake is filled, even if your PAL is still valid, you most likely not get the visa, because they are working with a certain number. So this will mean that you have to start on time. Start on time. Make proper findings. And just an addendum, for skilled worker visa that requires LMIA for Canada as well, there are certain job categories that would no longer allow you to come in with your dependent. So you want to confirm that if you have an LMRI and you're looking at relocating to Canada, you want to confirm that the job category that you are in um, is eligible to bring in your dependent and your spouse. This also applies for the UK as well. There are certain job categories for foreign nationals that would no longer be allowed into the UK. And there's also a speculation that care visas that was easy to get as well for foreign nationals that are relocating to the UK might be cut short or cut out, or setting salary plans, because most of all, particularly for the UK, most of all of this update has not gone live, but it's out there and it's still undergoing negotiations and going through all of the law findings and um, negotiations. Yeah, so that means you want to, if you are planning to relocate to the UK, this is like the best time to do it. So you're in the system before all these things goes live, so you're not affected by it. So um I think this is the bulk of what I have for us today. And as I said, it was really nice being here. It's been a while I've been on here, and really lovely coming here again. So I'm actually waiting for our questions, but I can see a lot of people here, but I'm not seeing any questions. Please ask questions. So ask questions, clarity. Even though you have anything that is outside of what I've talked about now, you have questions on visa processing, documentations, and all of those things, please do well to ask. So um, I'm waiting for our questions. I'm waiting for our questions. Don't just listen to me. Ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. I'm waiting for our questions, clarity. Or did you understand everything that I said? Okay, let me just reiterate again while I'm waiting for questions to come. The US has changed the service provider from CEC to Aptis. That means you have to go on Aptis to book an appointment. Also mean have to go on Aptis to book an appointment. To pay your visa fee has to be done with either First Bank, or you have to pay online with a dollar card, or you go to the First Bank app to make your payment. Visa fee still remains 185 USD. It has not changed. Once you print out your reference letter, if you want to go out the bank, you see the Naira equivalent to pay there. Also, you need to link your DS160 number and your appointment confirmation if you have not done that 10 days prior to your application. If not, you'll not be let into the appointment into the embassy for your interview. For Canada, for your spouse to be eligible to travel with you as a dependent, you have to be going for a course that is 16 months or above. Anything lesser yanks them off the eligibility list. Also, the PAL system has also been introduced for master's students. So you are going to study a master's program. You need to make sure that you have your provincial attestation letter from your desired province or your school. Also, if the student is in the last term of study, you are no longer eligible to bring in your dependent, except maybe you're going for another course or you have an extension. Visit visa to work permit has now been taken out. So if you're in Canada on a visit visa, you'll most likely not be able to switch from inside Canada um to a work visa. Then for the UK, the UK has changed service providers from TLS to VFS. So once you get your appointment letter or you get to the site, don't be alarmed when you see VFS instead of TLS. They are now the official service providers. They also have one, two, three. They also have 5 centers in 4 different cities. In Lagos, they have a center in Ikeja, or maybe to be precise, on the island. They have in Abuja as well. They have in Port Harcourt and Enugu. However, Port Harcourt and Enugu are both premium centers, and submit an application in the centers. You have to budget paying the sum of 150 pounds. 150 as opposed to other locations. Also for extra service charges on the website, on VFS websites, extra service charges like premium lounge, flexi appointment, all of those charges, that makes submitting your application seamless. That used to be paid in naira, has now been officially changed to pounds. So don't be alarmed. Your system is not glitching. There's no error like jam when you see a pounds equivalent instead of the naira equivalent. So that means that to pay for any value added service, for instance, premium lounge is around 80 to 76 pounds. You need to use a dollar card to make that payment. Also, visa fee has been increased. I think I mentioned visa fee has been increased from the prices that we used to know. For student visa, that used to be £490, is now £524. Visit visa 6 months, that used to be £115, is now £127 for 2 years, £475 for 5 years, £845, 10 years, £1,059,000. Processing time still remains the same, 15 to 21 working days. If there are no issues with your application, then there's a the UK released a white paper announcement that the coming months or intake, we don't know when, that graduate visa will most likely be reduced from 2 years to 18 months. Dependent adult dependent of a student or of a sponsoring personal student, skilled worker will most likely be required to write an English test. We don't know which, maybe IELTS or type of IELTS or maybe Duolingo English test to apply for dependent visa. Pathways to citizenship that used to be 5 years has now been increased to 10 years. However, there's also an exemption. Certain field are getting here and there that the health sector might not be affected by this pathway duration increment. However, we're not sure yet. So, as I said, this is the best time to start your study abroad journey. Um, this is just this is May, and there's been a lot of changes in the travel space. We don't know what is going to happen in the coming months and the coming years. So, rather than postpone, yeah, postponing. If to say you did not, if it's that you did not postpone now, this visa fee increment would not affect you. You'd have gone, entered the system, and you'd have settled down. However, you postponed. So don't postpone again. Start now. This is the best time to start your application so that for the UK in particular, if all of these goes live, you're not affected because you're already in the system. Just start. If you have the resources, just start. And for a whole lot of reasons, if you're a Nigerian, you just know that it's very good to do things on time, very quick and very fast. For a lot of reasons. Number one, FX, forex fluctuation. Dollar can be 1.5 and you wake up tomorrow and dollar is 1.6, and that's a whole lot of addition when you're looking at the bulk of money you have to pay. So I think I've come to the end of this my very important conversation. And because nobody is asking me any question, mm, I'm sad. Is it that we understand everything and there are no questions? Okay, if I was saying that we understand everything and there are no questions. Okay. Thank you, Ebon. Ebon, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Ebon. And if I saying you understand everything and there are no questions, I'm very glad. And once again, my name is Precious, and I was the host for this live. I'm a staff at Nexi Concept Limited. We're a study abroad agency. We provide different range of services, from visa consultation, study abroad, easy tuition fee payment, and all of those. Anything, just anything at all. Relocation advice, just name it. And we have our locations in different places. We are in Lagos here. You can find us in Ikeja. We're in Abuja. We're in Port Harcourt. We're also in Ghana. So you can walk into any of our offices at any time, We're open from 9 to 5 from Monday to Thursday. We're open from 9 to 5 and we're ready and we're going to be happy, willing to receive you. You can slide into our DMs and ask all of the questions that you would like to ask. And okay, Ageless is saying hi to you too. So you're not asking me any question, okay? When restriction to USA? I didn't mention any restriction to USA. Except you have something particular you want to ask about restrictions to USA. I don't know what restrictions in particular you asking about ageless collections. Let me wait for you a bit while you ask the restrictions or you specify the restrictions, because I don't think I mentioned any restrictions to the US. I don't think I mentioned anything that has to do with restrictions for the US. So okay, we're waiting for Ageless to ask a question in particular. USA restrictions. There are no restrictions to the USA. I just said start your process on time. Update your DS1 system, your appointment portal 10 days prior to your appointment, so you're not turned back at the interview point, because you will have your records on their system. But aside from that, let me smile for you this one. I think that's all. And I think we have officially come to the end of this live session. And once again, thank you for joining in and giving me your very expensive time and coming to listen to the important things I have to say. And on this note, I think it's a goodbye from me. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope you have a lovely weekend. A week, weekend. I hope you have a lovely week for the rest of the week. So, toodles and bye.